Oh, all right, we're back. Shop Class Podcast. Tonight, we got a special guest, Thomas. Thomas, I don't know how to say your name.
Baisch.
Baisch.
There you go.
All right, he is the infinite craftsman, which means he's like the ultimate DIYer. I've been talking to him for a while. He's always asking questions. He's very interactive with the community. Thomas is a super cool dude, really nice, and we're glad to have him. And he also has a Kickstarter that launched and has like record-breaking, interest. So we're gonna go over that whole thing. Plus, we got our regulars. Matt's in the house. How you doing?
What up? Doing good.
All right. We got Nick, upstate New York.
Present and accounted for.
We got Duke,
Present.
East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I'm here this week. It's been a shaky summer.
Yeah, and he's got the proper sign in the background.
Yeah, we got the Shop Class Podcast laser engraving.
Yeah. So Thomas, you can find Thomas on Instagram, Infinite Craftsman. But we're going to dive into, before we get into Thomas's products and whatnot, we're going to get into the past. We're going to ask the first question we ask every guest, and I always forget, and Duke always reminds me. Did you have shop class growing up?
I feel like if I said no, I could get out of answering this question, but I did. I had shop class all throughout middle school, I feel like. It was just one class. Everybody took it. I feel like it was a few years. And then I took one shop class in high school. They really didn't offer a lot, which was a total bummer. So what do you want to hear about first? Start with middle school? That was first.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, Duke teaches middle school.
Yeah.
And middle school is overlooked. I think it's one of the most important ones because if they get to me and they haven't had middle school shop class, then what happens is they can't even read a ruler. So I'm basically teaching middle school in high school. And I could see Matt in his head, yes. This is an issue, because they're wasting time.
I don't know.
Junior high is a sweet spot.
We teach them how to read a ruler in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade.
Sure,
and then they teach us 9th grade, and they're like, what,
you always forgot.
You guys how to measure?
Yeah, but at least they've been exposed to it.
Yeah. But they got to use it. That's the thing. You can't have it for 22 days and expect them to.
Yeah, you do like quarters or eighth a quarter?
Half a marking period. But,
a marking period.
Yeah. Yeah, put tools in their hand, show them what to do, stand it up and go. But, the middle school or junior high, they're also looked at because a lot of the shop classes in high school are electives. So we're like the feeder program to the high school courses. So if they have a good experience in middle school, they're likely to take the class. If it's the opposite, they're probably going to stay away from it.
So it all depends on Duke's program.
Mine and other middle school teachers.
I had a what's 4th grade? What is that? That's not middle school, is it?
You're elementary still.
There was a guy we would sand through all the different sand layers, and then he would say, you'd bring it up to him, and he'd go, not smooth enough. I go, how do you want it? Smooth as a baby's bottom. Get back out there.
Inappropriate.
Yeah. That's how it was, It's funny. But I got that thing down to I don't know, I think I went up to 600 grit. Just, So all right, cool. So you tell us about middle school, Thomas.
Yeah, I don't remember a ton, but I remember we did the CO2 cars. That we definitely did, but I don't remember that day. I remember other kids doing it while I walked past them in the hall, but I don't remember when I did it, which is just weird how your memory works. I remember making it though. And then we were doing CAD back then. This is a long time ago, right?
That's a big deal. Just so you know, I don't have any shop class besides the one I just mentioned. So
yeah,
head and shoulders above what I did. So
Right. I mean, we did. It was a generic class, so we did lots of different things. Like we did Lego builds and stuff, and try to learn about mechanisms. But there wasn't a whole lot of teaching. It was more like execute this task. Like even the CAD was a binder with like literally click by click directions. And looking back at it now, I didn't learn anything. I learned that I can't follow a recipe. That's what I learned. Like I can't do it. So we weren't really being, and I'm not blaming the teacher. I'm not, whatever. It's bigger than that, right?
How dare you?
But we didn't learn anything. We just kind of went through the motions, and that was a bummer. But fast forward to high school, I don't think I even knew that shop classes were really available for a while. And then I took one, I think my senior year, and it was, I forget the exact name, but it was like an entrepreneur shop class. And as a class, we elected what?
That is what you're doing now. You're an entrepreneur with a see. There's like workshop. The word is work, and then there's shop is the sales. A workshop is a place where you make stuff you sell. Workshop.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So, and I think the exposure of that class taught me more than I ever thought it taught me. But we elected a president. I was the vice president. A friend of mine that's coming over this weekend was the secretary, treasurer, whatever, not wrong word. We had to come up with a product, figure out how we were going to make that product, figure out how we were going to put all the kids to work and sell it. Like we literally walked around classrooms and sold this to teachers and our family members and stuff. And we were allowed to invest. Like I was allowed to bring in $40 and like put it in the pool. And then we bought stock and made the thing.
Wow.
And then we actually, we made a profit. It wasn't very much. So we actually got money back at the end of the whole class, which I'm pretty sure none of that flies anymore. Is that pretty accurate? Like you can't deal with money at all.
Oh no, absolutely. No, of course not. But you could have a separate account, like a club account, or I was actually, just as you're talking, I was pulling up an episode we did with someone who runs a nonprofit that handles that side of it for you.
Oh, cool.
Including the transactions and everything. Yeah, and so it's interesting that you did have an entrepreneurial class, and it worked out for you. Great.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We had to basically invent the assembly line for what we needed to do, and everybody had different jobs, and we all rotated around and stuff.
Yeah, before you get to that, let me just show you.
Yeah.
Elise Burden, she does something called Real World Scholars Entrepreneurship in the Classroom. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
And, and what that is that she talks about, how to set that up, and they have a whole software section. But I think that's super important, to have in the classroom, because school's kind of the opposite of entrepreneurship. There's no chance to make money. And we all know that it's not just about the money, but if you don't have the ability to like create some sort of sustainable living, and also making stuff is helpful. So people are willing to pay for something. So I do think it's important that people have this. Yeah. So that's pretty cool that you had it so early on.
Yeah. And I don't think, it's like you said, it's not about the money, but it is though. Like it is in the sense of like, what's the motivation? You can totally just make stuff for yourself. We all do that. But to teach a kid that you can do something and sell it is like mind blowing. It's just another level. It's like the greatest level of permission you can give a kid. I was hanging out with this, a friend of the family. They have a 15-year-old kid. I think he's almost 17 now. And I got him going with 3D printing and buying and selling tools. He would ride his bike to the local flea market every Saturday and buy stuff and resell it on Facebook. And the kid was making a couple $100 a week doing this. And
great.
Like, it's such an awesome level of freedom for someone at that age. And yeah, he's going to blow that money, but who cares? Like, that's what You know, like he's supposed to.
Yeah.
But to hopefully teach him that he can create value now, I think is, I mean, you're all doing that. I don't have to preach that to you.
No, but it's a big difference. Like, you know, like it's funny. Like I come from a family where they don't want me being a mechanic or anything like that. So I got a car from the junkyard and I brought it home. And my dad and my mom were like, "Get this thing out of here." So I fixed it and I turned around and I sold it for a profit. And when I sold it, my dad was like, "Wait, you made money with that?" And I go, "Yeah, I bought it for 200. I sold it for 600. He's like, "What?"
Yes.
You know? He's like, "Really?" And I was like, that was the opposite of the day before. Like, when do you get this thing out of here? You know?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And that's when he goes, what could you do with $1,000?
Well, he didn't. He should have invested. He should have said, "Okay, well,
I know.
get another car." I don't know.
Right.
You know, they weren't down with it.
Yeah.
They thought it was interesting. They were at least talking to me about it. It's pretty funny. But that's true. Empowerment, you know. I think that's probably missing from a lot of parent kids relationship, and then also from the schools. It's hard to get exposure. It's weird. The whole country's built on entrepreneurs, and yet it's pretty like kind of random if you end up being an entrepreneur. And you don't have to be an entrepreneur your whole life. You can have a day job and some sort of side gig or whatever. Even if you just rake some leaves, you know, like I got friends that rake leaves and then they turn that into cutting trees, and they turn that into, I mean, one of their trucks cost $750,000. They have a robot crane that picks up trees. You know, it's like, you know, $1 million home. You know, it's totally different thing now. And I was just raking the leaves. They just raked it more. They raked more leaves more often than the guy next door.
I don't think that story is told enough where like they actually started raking leaves. They didn't go out and take out a loan and buy a $750,000 truck. It took a long time to get there, and it took a lot of work, and they started for free. Like that rake was not even his, I bet, right? Like I know there's a hypothetical thing a little bit, but but like he borrowed that rake. and then he bought an extra rake and brought a buddy with him. Like and that's what that's what I'm doing now. I feel like I'm still in the infancy of that. I mean, I started my website in September, and I just started I made 35 products in 35 days. I designed and produced 35 things, and we'll get to FrogPod, but FrogPod's 39. Like FrogPod was the first thing that really hit big, and it's because I put a lot more marketing effort in, mostly. It was a good product too, but
wait, you skipped ahead a little. Let me just Let me get Matt involved too. Matt actually was a contractor before he became a teacher. And I think that influence is huge because he's, you know, what do you think of that, Matt? It's like some teachers should probably be some sort of small business before they get into shop teaching, or everyone does it on the side anyway. So, yeah.
I mean, the story isn't uncommon, I think, in our world. Thomas, my student who's getting ready to start teaching with us, I mean, he worked, you know, was going to college, working at Ace part-time and doing the, you know, side work, handyman stuff on the side part-time. I mean, how many teachers and how many of us have, especially starting off when we were young, as soon as summer hit, we were doing some kind of gig, right? And then I was just talking to one of my other former students, almost the same story you told. He's doing landscaping, tree trimming business. I had actually two students that started off mowing yards, and I'm gonna say Zach will be the first one in his class to make 100,000.
Wow.
There's no degree behind it except the diploma. And then Hayden, he just messaged me. He's wanting to get plans made to build a duplex, and rent it out. So I mean, he's probably 22, and he's at a point where he wants to build a duplex as a rental property.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
Amazing. Good start. What
Dude, around me, it snowed. You used to walk around the neighborhood and shovel everyone's driveway. And then I used to do my neighbor's $50 for her driveway. Then I bought her house. Now I got to do it for free.
That's great.
That's good. You know, I don't know if you know, Thomas, but Matt, his shop class, they buy a piece of land and then they build a house on it with the students.
What
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
What is this? Grade school? Is this high school?
high school, public high school.
What? What? Where do you live? I mean, we're moving. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Billy Madison this thing and go
Illinois,
back
far
to
away.
school. Like, do you actually finish that in like a year, or do you do that over years?
The first one, when we relaunched the program, we always had it. Like, we had it when I was in high school, but it got put on pause and we relaunched it. So it was over COVID. So that one took us 2 years calendar
Okay.
time, and then the one that we're currently on, we might have it done in a year and a half school time. We'll see how this semester goes, but really we're 90% done with the outside, and then we'll go when we get back, we'll be starting insulation and drywall on the inside.
Wow.
So some of that stuff takes a little while just because once you get into finishing work.
Crazy.
But yeah, we built a house.
Super
and
cool.
That's Taylorville, Illinois. And it's pretty cool because like they got the pressure of doing it, plus it's like a real world thing. And then he doesn't go to the school, the class comes to him. So he's on the job site like a foreman.
Wow.
He's also
Yeah.
Super
in,
cool.
building sciences, passive house building, the most up-to-date technology. He's trying to wire houses with Ethernet cables. It's awesome. Check out his Instagram.
I will.
Yeah.
What an amazing experience. Like my father learned a lot from his father-in-law, my grandfather, who was a plumber, but also just did everything, his kind of catchphrase a little bit about that stuff was, don't be afraid of what's behind a wall. And it's because most of us have never seen inside of a wall and we're terrified of it. So you literally are showing these kids every inch of a house build, and that is mind-blowing. Even it doesn't matter that they don't go into that field, right? Yeah. But that serves them their whole life when they have to just even fix something or just know what's wrong, or when there's a pipe burst, they know exactly how bad that is. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. And it attracts a lot of attention, which is much deserved. The trades don't really get, a lot of attention. And then, the schools, a lot of people don't even know the school shop. Like, whenever I tell people I'm a shop teacher, people say, they still have that? They don't even know.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. That's fine. That's the part of the reason for the Shop Class podcast is we're just spreading ideas and sharing shop teacher experiences and inviting cool people like yourself that are, on board with the, DIY, but also entrepreneurship. This is his Instagram right here. Build, learn, teach.
I just looked it up.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And a lot of interesting things like, okay, have you ever seen this before? This is the T-stud. It is so a stud will transfer energy in a house. Now,
Thermal
if
energy.
you have good insulation, you're fine. But if you really want to get into it, the stud actually transfers a little bit of energy. But what if that stud had a break in it? So instead of being a stud like this, it's a stud like this, and then there's a truss in between. And so now you have a thermally broke truss stud.
So less heat will transpire out of the building or into the building.
Yeah. so that's like a new product, and they're putting it right in the house. You can actually put spray foam right in the middle.
Whoa.
It's
Yeah.
easier to run your wires and your pipes as well.
Yeah. It
Really?
reminds me a little bit of a timber frame where I took a timber framing class a couple years ago, and they basically put 4x4s like on all the girths. Like they basically wrap the whole building in 4x4s, and then the siding goes on that, and now you have 4 inches. Oh, I started your Instagram video, and then you have all this depth where you can run all of your wires behind the actual timbers,
Yep.
And then just fill that with insulation. And it's just a super clean. And that parts of this remind me of that idea where you have freedom. There's nothing in your way. You don't have to drill through 2x4s. You don't have to drill through it. You just lay your stuff down. For the most part, at least. That's really cool.
So it's kind of cool. Like they put new products in, and then they measure everything with, you can measure your house, whether or not you're airtight, and you can actually look for leaks and whatnot. And it's competitive. They are competitive to the latest and greatest builders out there, and they're just
Really,
yeah,
that's super cool.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. Cool. All right. So, so basically, you were going to get into your products. So, okay. So, but before we get to that, like, kind of tell us like how you got from like the high school or middle school, high school experience to kind of just product design. You're kind of an infinite craftsman. You're like a tinkerer. What is the deal with that?
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
before you go too far. What did you remember? What product you developed in the high school?
Oh yeah, it was a mirror, a wall hanging mirror that looked like a lighthouse. So it was 3-dimensional. So it had a round, like a semicircle base, 2 semicircle bases. We carved a brick pattern into the face of it, and then we had a simple frame that we made the molding ourselves and jointed it together. But it was a tapered frame, so like the joints didn't really match up that great, so we just sanded it all. and then the top was like 8 pieces, including like a half of a ball for the very top. We even did like a balcony with little posts, and we ran a string, like a kite string, to each post. And there were like 25 kids in this class, I think, if I remember correctly. So we had a lot of workers. And what was cool too is there was a natural hierarchy because it was 4 grades. It wasn't just senior year. We had 4 grades. So naturally the freshmen are just the grunt workers, unfortunately, but they played their part. And then the seniors were the leadership and stuff. But that's life, right? Like that's how it works in the real world too. But yeah, so we made this mirror, and we totally made it wrong. We basically painted all the parts individually and then glued it together with wood glue. And I don't remember if we did scrape away any paint, but I know we didn't on my neighbor's, because like 4 years ago she asked me to fix it. It's been in a box for like 20 years. And I was like, I looked at it. It was so cool though, because I looked at it. I was like, I can't believe we made this. It's genuinely impressive that we pulled this off. And there was paint on every surface in between all the joints. And I took the time, and I took a chisel, and I just back scraped it and glued it back together. And I'm pretty sure she still has it. So
that's amazing.
It's funny though. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was my next question, if you still have yours, but at least you got to see one.
Oh, I don't have one. My mom has one. It's probably still hanging up because
orders.
Well, she probably still has it because she has like a little bit of a beach theme. She's a beach bum. So like one of the rooms is all beach theme, and I'm pretty sure it's still hanging up there. I just can't picture it right now. But I'll have to go take a picture. I'll have her take a picture and send it out.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it goes a long way. These, the projects people do, and I mean, it's something, middle school, high school is like, even though it's only a couple years, it's epic. It's a major chapter in your life, so it means a lot.
Yeah.
I had some students come back and like they really wanted to drill into me that concept. They're like, everything that we do in this class is like super important, and they were like past college at this point. And they were trying to remind me. I'm like, because I think I was like, sometimes you get stressed as a teacher. You're like, listen, everything you did in the class is like super important, and you remember. You're like, wow, this is like somebody's chapter, that they're going.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough being a teacher because you got to be the best you can be every single year, but you can't be because you're a person. But it's like that; those are important chapters.
They are.
In the middle school, for me, it's exposure. It might be the first time a kid puts a tool in their hand. But I also
want to say that.
Yeah, I want them to take home a quality product, because you hear, this is I just finished my 25th year. A lot of times you hear the kids, I still have my sock project. I still have the project that I made. So you want them to take home something quality. Plus, if you have other people are going to see it as well. So for me, it's, exposure, taking home a hands-on project. And
yeah, I was just going to say that. I was like, my wife and I were like, early exposure, not early commitment. I don't care if my kid never plays another season of soccer. He played one. That's great. Because he will pull from that if he gets interested in soccer. I just picked soccer. But he'll pull from that knowledge 10 years later and be like, oh, I can go do that. And that goes with anything.
Yep. We were just talking about that today. My kid's in karate. He loves karate. But he always says, when you ask him a question, yes, yes, yes. And I love it. I don't know where it came from. But then we were at karate today, and the kids are saying, yeah, yeah. And then the senseis were like, what? What'd you say? And then I was like, that's where he gets it from. But if he gets that, the difference between saying yes and yeah, on a respect level, it's pretty cool. Exposure, same thing.
I mean, yes.
Sorry,
I said yep.
Get them in all these sports. If they pick one or two or whatever, play in the band, I don't care. Do something.
Yep.
The East Coast, yeah. In California, they catch me all the time. I still have the jersey going, and when I get if I'm in a rush or something, like, yeah, all right on. It's like, but then more like they curse less out here. It's pretty funny. It's not very East Coasty. Cool. All right, let's dive in here. Let's dive into the pathway. I got something. This is your early Instagram right here. This is like, it's like Thomas, this is your life or something like that.
Yes. I got into Instagram late, and now I live there.
Yeah, well, it's all what you do with it. But I remember some of this. I think I started following.
Hold on, freeze. So this was the first. Go down to the two benches there.
Yeah.
I know we're not going to go through all this, but this is important for what we're talking about.
Oh, no, it's good. The idea is that. Yeah.
So both of the right, there might be a triple bench in one of these right there. That's a triple bench. So this was like the first customer I ever took. And it was this bench. It was a double, which matches this antique outdoor furniture. And then it was 10 folding chairs, which were like blacksmithed over 100 years ago. And they were all rusty. If you go, you'll find a rusty picture there. One of the arrowheads was missing on the one in the middle there. And one of that top crossbar, there's an arrowhead missing.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't make the arrowhead. I had the Woodbury blacksmith do that for me. We were hanging out at the time. Well, we still do, but I moved. And I took on that job, and my brother helped me price it. And my brother's just a good business guy, sales guy, and he knows to charge way more than I think. And I think I quoted $3,500 to restore all this stuff. Like that wood is me. The 10 chair. Oh, there is a picture of the 10 chairs somewhere though. I had to do steam bending for those. Never did steam bending in my life. I just said yes, and I was like, I'll figure it out. And I pulled it off. I definitely pulled it off, but like, I don't know if I'd recommend quite taking on that much for especially your first project, but I'm like $3,500. I'll figure it out for $3,500. You know, There was even room for me to go get that stuff sandblasted, which I ended up doing after I bought a sandblaster from Harbor Freight and did like the first bench. I was like, I'm just going to pay somebody to do this, and I still turned a profit, which was cool. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
there's the slats.
Cheers.
Yeah. Dang, I don't ever want to do that again.
I repair. I know it's like I did foldy chairs as well. There's a baker by me that I'm friends with, and this is the funniest thing. He's got French chairs at a French bakery, but he's got Americans sitting on it. So what do you think happened to the French chairs with Americans?
It broke immediately. Yeah, broke immediately.
Yeah.
At a bakery.
Yeah, I'm like, American chairs meet here in the USA if you're going to be serving American customers.
Right.
You know,
oh my gosh.
me included, you know. So anyway, I repaired them and I painted them and stuff, but it's a lot of work because it's every chair needed something different, but also repetition. It's like next chair. You got to get an assembly line going. It's a lot.
Yeah. I don't love that work. That was pretty taxing.
You're kind of
I do a lot of restoration
like
stuff.
Inventor type, I would say, right? I
mean, that's where I've definitely poured my energy in the last year or two. I've been trying to like encourage that skill set, that mindset of really it's a mindset of identifying problems, right? As small and as it's the hard ones to find are the really insignificant ones that you just don't even realize are problems. And then you realize like everyone thinks it's a problem. They just never thought to do anything about it. You know?
What's the problem here?
What's up?
Mowing the lawn.
Oh, there's so many problems there.
No, but this is you solve the problem mowing the lawn. There's a robot lawnmower, right?
My 5-year-old mowed the lawn safely.
Wow.
From the second story window standing in front of the air conditioner.
I think this is how I found you. I think
because I was probably telling everybody really bad information about batteries.
No, but
let me help this guy.
Oh, that's funny. No, I thought this was so cool because it's a gas engine robot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like 3 systems on there. They're completely independent from each other. The only thing that links them together is the transmitter.
And then I think you have a YouTube video about it, right?
There's an unbuild video where I rip it apart. It's at the top. RC lawnmower unbuild. This one is just me driving around. This is like my first video that I ever put up, and it's literally just a show and tell. Well, it's just a show. I didn't tell anything.
Can you guys see that?
I'm wearing those shorts right now. That's weird.
Look at that.
Shorts.
That's a robot mower.
So that's the first one. I did make a second one, but I don't remember where I documented that other than Instagram stories.
That's really funny. A robot mower.
Now, is that remote control or is that on sensors?
No, remote control. Everybody's like, oh, make it autonomous. I'm like, no, that's no fun. Like, I want to be in control of the mower.
Oh, it's RC mower, right?
I am all about user experience.
That's funny.
You know, you give a kid, what do you want, a PlayStation remote to move the robot, or do you want to code it using the keyboard? They're going to pick the remote every single time.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That was a Power Wheels. A Power Wheels, like the motors from a Power Wheel and the wheels from a Power Wheel. And then the second one was a Razor go-kart, like Razor scooters. They make go-karts and quads and stuff. And I cut up a Razor go-kart and made it. And it was a little bit better, but I really want to make a 0-turn one. And that would be the ultimate.
Got it. Look at this thing. This is the whole explanation?
Yeah, so I unbuilt it and harvested all the parts. And I tried to explain the best I could. Yeah, that's the Razor go-kart. I tried to explain how the systems are independent. Like that mower is a passenger. That mower is not connected to the RC vehicle at all.
Right.
It's just a mower that's running, and like it was a push mower. And then the steering is completely independent. It has its own battery because it conflicted with the other battery. And I don't know enough about batteries to do that any better, which is why I was talking to you. And then the rear is also a separate battery, and they just plug into the radio transmitter into their own respective channels, and it works great.
You're gonna have to remind me. I got some cool battery projects here in the other room that I'll have to show you before we get going.
Cool.
Yeah, like full size electric car conversion type stuff.
Yeah.
What about this is kind of an interesting concept, this unbuild it. Did someone challenge you to do this? This is a good idea.
No, I kind of like promised the internet that I would do an RC build, and it's so hard to do a video on something you know nothing about and you have to learn as you're going, so you don't know when to hit record, right? Which is why I don't do it anymore, and I do Instagram stories, because you can just hit record all the time and share every inaccuracy. Like, my greatest fear is that somebody clicks on my stories one day, watches half of them, and then doesn't see the next half where I tell you how not to die. Like, because I'm literally learning as I go.
But you do a really good engagement. Like when you talk to the camera and then you kind of like show your hand, you're like, okay, look over here. It's good stuff. I think that that's a good skill. A lot of people, it's hard to get started doing that. But I think it's good because you do engage the community. I mean, we spoke because I think of some sort of reaction to one of your videos, and then we ended up, going, texting, and then I think we called each other. So it's great engagement. You using YouTube for that, or Instagram.
Yeah, I try to let you into my head as best I can, and I'm very vocal with my thought process. Like I'll literally start talking and then stop mid-sentence and say something else, because that's what's flowing through my brain.
So at some point you must have met Jimmy DiResta.
Yeah, I gave him a surface grinder from my dad's old shop. Job. My dad my dad did sales for 42 years at this company.
Oh wow.
But I met Jimmy in Springfield at the Biggie woodworking shows. And then I've met him a bunch of times now, and I text and talk to him often. I don't know how he has the time for anybody, honestly.
He's super supportive. He's awesome.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
How he can have relationships with literally thousands of people. It's unreal.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it either. So at some point you upped your skills. I remember you always trying to up your skills. I think you bought a lathe and you bought a mill, and you just kept going, and metalworking and whatnot. So at some point, what is this challenge that this journey you went on where you said, okay, I'm gonna make 30 or 31 products in 31 days or something like that? Where does that start?
Yeah. So
I'll
tell this a little bit out of order. Sorry, what's that?
No, yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
A little bit out of order, but I gave myself, I didn't even tell anybody, but I was like, I want to design 100 products in 2 years, which is about one a week, which is a lot. And I just hit the ground running, and I did 35 in 35 days. And they're not all home runs. Like, that includes like 8 or 9 power tool battery hangers that everybody's making, but I made my own, right? Like, I designed my own and printed my own. And the reason I started this challenge is I'm actually like a couple years late getting to it. I had a random conversation with a guy from a Atlas Lathe group who makes 3D printed parts for old machines. And his specialty is kind of like printing a part, and then machining a brass bushing for that part, which makes it super unique, and it makes it kind of expensive. So like at the end of your lead screw, there's a thing that holds your lead screw onto the lathe, and he puts a brass bushing in it. And he told me which this is so simple, but I never thought about it this way. You don't need one good idea. You don't need the $1 million idea. That's all I feel like that's all I ever heard growing up is like, oh, you got to come up with that $1 million idea. No, you need 200 products that sell one a month, which means you sell 200 products a month. And one a month is pretty bad if you're not trying, right? So like, I hope I didn't say that. I hope that's not misunderstood. But like,
you got it.
Yeah, but like one a month is kind of easy. Like you could sell that door to door one a month, right? So, but if you have 200 or 1,000 products, like look at your grocery store. Your grocery store probably has 40,000
Just
SKUs.
thinking of retail.
Right?
Just think of retail. That's their approach, except they don't invent it. They just buy it wholesale.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to do still. And I'm at like 42 that I've published. I'm probably closer to 50 that I haven't really talked about, but they're not ready. So we'll see.
That's cool. This one is really totally useful. This is the quick tool attachment, the quick change for a lathe, and then it holds your indicator, your dial indicator, so you can check if it's out of round. It's awesome. I mean, how many times have I put the magnet on there with the arm? And then
so even that though, like that, so like a lot of the stuff, some of the stuff I've invented myself, right? And like I really like doing that. But this I didn't invent. I just redesigned one that fit easily with a very popular dial indicator, which is from Harbor Freight. Like if you're using my plastic part on your hobby lathe with a Harbor Freight dial indicator, the accuracy is exactly what you want it to be, right? Like it's accurate enough, and that's the category I'm shooting for.
I like the drill situation. You know, I never messed around with these adapters and holders, but I will tell you, the drill is interesting. The drill battery is interesting because they're very expensive, and they are repairable. And I think what happens is a lot of times they get thrown out, and you're a contractor, you don't got time for anything. But if someone has an adapter or a solution in case you broke the bottom of the drill or you need to hang them up or whatever, these are really convenient. It's surprising that the drill manufacturers are not making accessories for the battery. You know,
I'm surprised, honestly. It's low hanging fruit in my opinion. I think it should come with the drills at this point. Like everybody's making them.
You see, what's in the drill? Here's one I'm going to take apart, and these are expensive. This is the DeWalt 20 volt 4 amp hour. So he said, I don't know, $100 or something. I have no idea, but this is what's in them. 18650s. These are the batteries. And you can make your own, you can replace, or the battery management system doesn't allow you to charge it because the battery dipped below a certain voltage and you got to manually bring it back up. So imagine instead of throwing this out, you could fix it or you could change it, you know? And then they got these holders. Maybe this got beat up, maybe too many times thrown it, but if you had a holder on the wall, you know, cool. I like it. So you did a bunch of these. What's this thing?
For the M12.
Oh, for the M12. Yep. For the Milwaukee M12 batteries. There you go.
It's a clip.
Yeah, it's just a simple holder. Keep you organized. I mean, it definitely favors the hobby guy, for not exclusively, but you know, us hobby guys, we like cool little things and organizers, and like part of the hobby is just putting your tools away. You know.
Oh, you have a customer right here.
I haven't gotten them though.
What's that?
The contractors are all over those things too.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick, and then Matt.
The Nerf gun targets for the screws in the wall. It's still
Oh yeah, that should be on there. Yeah, you want some? I'll send you some. You didn't order any, right? I didn't miss an order, did I? Oh my god.
No, I didn't. Hey, you forgot your order. So come on.
I forgot.
It's like my biggest fear because I'm not an organized person.
Yeah, and then what are you going to say?
Yes, the drill caddy.
That drill caddy you gave me last year at the slip and slide. put it on my metal room drill press. You know,
I think I gave the junior, right?
yeah, the one that you painted. It didn't fit my wood room one. It fit my the metal room one.
That's good. These were cool. This is an original design. All those little there's 4 compartments on that collar. So like that orange one, and then the bit one to the left, and there's like 3 bit ones on there. But I think it's the best place to put your bits.
Wow.
And I really like the junior, which is even smaller. It's just one set of bits that rings around your drill press collar, and you just have your standard set of bits just right there, ready to go.
Whoa, dude!
Parametrically, I couldn't believe that your friend there was able to figure all that stuff out.
Do you remember that? Yeah,
So I resize the pipe or whatever.
I did the junior one. I did parametrically, so I could change the collar size and
size
yeah
of the pole on your drill press.
This is why you pay attention in math class. And I was good at math, but I never excelled because I was a bad student, quote unquote, right?
Where is your website so we can pull this up?
infinitecraftsman.com.
Okay. I'm going to pull it up. Because Nick showed me that and I was like, done, I'm buying one. I just didn't buy it. You already have a customer. I have to get this. I cannot go back to the drill draw. I'm at the drill press. That's where the drill should be.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, the guy, he was like, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. He went through like all your different.
Yeah, you do have some good solutions.
Yeah, man.
You got plenty of printers run, so you can put them up and order them and they'll print them out.
Yeah.
I have a new printer in the box that I haven't even taken out yet. That's how many printers I've got going on right now.
Yeah, Thomas, what filament type do you use for a lot of this stuff?
Most of it's
just PLA or what? Yeah.
Most of it, yeah. I mean, I switched to PETG for a few things, but honestly, if you print well, PLA is super strong. And it's cleaner, it's more accurate, less error.
Yeah.
And it's totally strong enough. As long as it's not going to be in the sun, right? It's going to be okay. It's not, and here's the thing, it's not like PETG costs more and that's why I don't use it, right? Like they all cost the same almost.
Yeah.
But I just try to use the right thing for the right job. Nothing ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, all right, so there's a problem with this one.
PETG was very finicky. As far as filament, PETG is very finicky, hydroscopically and all that.
Yeah. You see the bits are dirty because they're actually like they're mismatched. like this is as real a photo as I could possibly think of. So there's a flaw with this, and I've thought about taking it down, but your bits aren't labeled on this, and there's no good way for me to do it. If you look at go back to the
print out a size checker and just clip it on there with it. Then you got that.
That's a good idea.
Taken care of.
Yeah, if you just take like a white marker and mark like the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch and the just literally tick marks, it would get you by, because that's how we all do it anyway. Most of the time you need you don't know what size you need, so you just start and then you just keep increasing until you get what you need. The Caddy Junior I was able to put the numbers printed in white on the black collar, and that comes out really clean and sharp. That's super awesome.
Now, is that through the Prusa slicer or was that from Kira?
Yeah, Prusa slicer is literally one. You just go to the layer you want, you click the plus sign, and that's it.
Oh.
The printer will do a filament change. You have to be there, but
I'm getting this one too.
Yeah, man. I'll send you a care package.
The quill lock.
This is sold more than anything. Facebook.
Really?
I know Facebook. It's on my Facebook store. Like Facebook has stores now, and I don't know. I've sold dozens. Like dozens is a lot. And so this is cool though, because I designed this because it's a cheap product, right? $7, free shipping. Okay. So the only way to do that is to send it in an envelope, which means I made it thinner than a 1/4 inch so it could go in an envelope. And I cut out, I need to get my laser working, but I basically cut out a hole in cardboard, tape it in there, and send it with an 88-cent stamp. And what's crazy is that people on Facebook don't get free shipping. They're paying for shipping. So they're spending 10, 11 bucks on this thing, and they're happy to do it, which is wild. Which means I have to increase my prices before you order. Hold on just a moment. The other thing, so like even the glue coin in the top left there, that's also under a 1/4 inch. So I can send that in the mail and do free shipping and only charge $5. Like nobody is selling a $5 item with free shipping unless you're Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
It comes in 2 pieces. You can kind of see that one has green underneath.
What is this thing?
It's just to help you pop the glue bottle nozzle. That's it.
Give you more leverage.
Yeah. And then when you leave it open and it dries out, it gives you a ton of leverage to rip it off and pick out the glue and then shove it back on. Because
this is a popper lever.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one like right here somewhere. I'll look for it.
FYI, this is
Here.
Looking at Tom's site is a good student design project.
Yeah.
ADP wise, this is where I had my kids go and redesign things.
That's it. It just sits on there.
Wow. It's awesome.
Well, I mean, it was supposed to be like a maker coin, like a sticker, right? It's just like a token with my name on it. And
What the hell is this?
This is a little unique.
Boy.
So that TV that you're looking at actually has a Nintendo in the base. So where it says game on the bottom, that's an actual NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. And it's a super rare TV, like ultra rare, highly collectible. And I print the doors for it. Go ahead and click on the drop downs. Look what I sell them for. It's awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The other one's 65.
Wow.
And they buy them. Everyone because those doors are always missing. And they make the TV look so much better. And I have sold, I don't know, I'm probably coming up on 100 doors, not 100 sets, so call it 50 sets, over the last 4 years. 3 years? I don't remember now. But that was like, all right, so there's another good lesson, though, of what I've learned. Find a niche market and make stuff for that market, but you have to get into that market. You can't just Google it and pretend, right? Because you don't know anything about these people. I'll give you a really good example that anyone could go tackle if they're into it. And it was given to me by this guy that told me to make 200 products. Go on eBay and buy old radios that have, is it the SW band? These old bands that I guess are still working, but they don't put on new radios. And they're all missing the battery door. So he said, go buy them, make the battery door, and then resell the radio because you're not really that into it, you know? And he goes, just start doing that and do 300 of them. It won't cost you basically any money other than your time. And you're going to sell one a month maybe. But if you have 300, like that's a legit business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not that into the radio thing and I can't do it, but.
What is this thing?
That's the same TV. Same TV, but those are the feet. And actually they look a lot better than that now. I've redesigned them a little.
You just glue it in?
Yeah, it's a shell. It covers it. Because it was a really bad design, and all the feet broke off of these things.
Yeah, let's hit pause on this. I'll just show you exactly what you just said is the business model for the electric car company that's right next door, but I have one of their cars. And so, like, let me just show you. I'll just do a quick little show you thing, but because this gives you like a. I'll be right there. It's on. Do you guys see?
Nope.
Yep. See you, but not a video.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
You're muted
Yes.
on your phone.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
There you go.
Yep.
Okay. And let me turn on the sound over here. Okay. Oops. You guys there?
You're good.
Yep.
Okay. So now this is like an old Volkswagen thing. People love these cars. But then this is an electric motor. These are 2 electric motors.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And then you guys have seen like dune buggies and whatnot,
Uh-huh.
like super aggressive, crazy off-road cars, right? But then imagine instead of a big fat engine out here, this is a Tesla drivetrain.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so you get
Needs to be
Tesla
at Jimmy's
performance.
track.
What's that?
It needs to be a Jimmy's go-kart track.
Oh God, dude, no. This is so I get scared driving this thing. It lifts
Awesome.
the front and you can't even steer. It is so powerful.
Perfect.
Oh, that actually is one of those old school buggies, huh?
Oh yeah. It's a
Like that.
They
What
call
is
it a
that classic
Mannix.
design?
yeah, they call it a
How do you spell
Mannix.
that?
It's what's that? Mannix?
Yeah.
I don't know.
X?
Oh, man.
MAX.
That's okay.
Oh, Mang. Yeah, Mannix. Something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
MANX.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's
That's
wild,
so
man.
cool.
That
And
one's
then
not scratched, but
here, I'll show you the batteries real quick and then we'll get back to you. But this is the thing, is that this company sells solutions. You see? This is the EV
Uh-huh.
West. And they just sell a bracket that makes all this possible. You see back there, there's an aluminum bracket.
Is that
And then these are-
unique to this
yeah.
car, to this model?
It's for Volkswagens, Beetle,
Okay.
Bus. This is called the Thing.
Any of the rear-mounted motor cars, basically?
Exactly. All the
Cool.
air-cooled rear-mounted motor and Porsche too. And I'm
Oh,
charging
wow.
up
That's awesome.
like on a public charger. I'll just that opens this piece right here. And they got this covered for aesthetic reasons, but
Mhm.
I think it's kind of silly. Wait, I have to put the phone down for a second. But here's your batteries.
Oh, wow.
Those are recycled smart car batteries when smart car made electric.
What's the chemistry? What are they?
Lithium ion, the say like an 18650 cell. These are made by Tesla. Tesla sold these to Mercedes that made the smart car.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they all got fuses.
Jeez.
Yeah. Now there's no battery management on here, but there should be. But this is an older
Yeah.
version of what they
You just-
did. So yeah, I just want to show you that that you're 100% right. They got a niche going. I mean, how many people
Right.
want to do this? But they are the ones that serve it to them. It's pretty
You
cool.
know, somebody told me not too long ago, and I want to say he lives in England, and he was comparing the U.S. to a country like England, where everything in the U.S. is an industry, right? So like what you just showed us, as small as that is, it's big business. I think I gave a stupid example of like you could make like a spoon rack for collectible spoons and have 100 100 workers making just spoon racks and survive in this country. Like everything is huge here. Whereas, you know, a country like England, you know, that's a mom and pop shop basically.
Because we have enough people here. Is that why?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's that much of a larger economy. And all that to say, do what you're passionate about, right? Like do the thing you're into. Don't do the radios that I told you about unless you're actually into radios, because you can go find your thing and make a living doing that thing. I don't know, man. And like the other thing is like you don't need to try and make $1 million. Like go make what number should I pick today? 70,000? I don't know. I was gonna say 50,000, but like you can live just fine on 50K and be super happy doing what you're doing. Like that goes more into like financial responsibility. But
Yeah, you got to make enough so you're happy. These guys, they went racing and they have like a record for fastest, I don't know, electric converted car at Pikes Peak. And then everyone's like,
that's
oh,
cool.
build me one. And then this is instead of 3D printing, they're laser cutting and bending. So, you know, it's a similar idea, you know, come up with a solution.
See, even that stuff. So like I think only one product right now. It's right here. It's a loop. This piece of aluminum. It's a loop for hanging up T-track things. So there's a T-track. Sorry, I'm getting the camera all screwed up. There's a T-track right here, and you just bend these tabs in, and you have this loop. And this hangs on the wheel adjuster on my table saw, right? But you can use these for really any T-track. And again, they're thinner than a 1/4 inch. You bend the tabs after you get it, and they ship in a mailer or in an envelope for 88 cents. But I don't have the ability to cut those. So sendcutsend.com is where I get that stuff done. So I could totally make that part with having 0 tools. Like you can still invent things without having to make them. You just may not. You have more restriction.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so now let's get into your latest endeavor. You know,
burning the grass off of my driveway. That's been
No.
sorry. Oh, not that recent. Okay, we're talking a month old here with the FrogPod.
you like
12 hours ago.
Bertman Road to light fire on your grass.
Yeah, my new house has like I don't know 400 feet of driveway, and it's literally grass. Well, it's weeds, and I'm trying to burn it away. But that was just a joke.
And you can do that on the East Coast. You would never do that here.
No, right? Yes.
Arson.
No, you wouldn't even light a cigarette out there, right?
Yeah, it's crazy out here. Dude, it doesn't rain. I'm in San Diego. I've been here for over a month. There's no rain.
No rain. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. No rain. Like literally every day I'm like,
how?
Again? Blue sky? Like it doesn't, there's no clouds, nothing. It's crazy. All right.
That is wild.
What's that?
That's wild.
Yeah, it's super crazy to me. So let's get into this. The latest, your latest invention, and what is this thing, man? What is this?
FrogPod. It's the FrogPod. It's a magnetic mount for your phones, lights, cameras, and more. It's the spokesperson coming out in me. I said that line so many times for the video, and screwed it up every single time.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, it's just a really simple magnetic mount, which is crazy because nobody really makes one. Nobody's making a magnetic mount. There are a couple out there technically, but they're kind of, I don't want to say this to, they're lame, right? That like this one's fun. And those other ones are just kind of like boring, and no one is inspired to buy it. Like this is like
flexible.
What's that?
And they're flexible.
Yeah. Yeah, it contours to any surface, and which is like my tools. Like I made this for my shop, my old shop, which was much smaller, and I would never put a tripod in it. Now I have a lot of space, and I would have never invented this. But it contours to like think of like your old Atlas drill press, right? Like this will stick on there, no problem, and be really strong. I even stuck it to the chuck in one of my Instagram posts and spun it around, not with the camera on it. It would have flown off immediately, but yeah, man, those posts.
That's cool. Now, but
then,
there's something. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm watching your screen. So yeah, so then it just folds up onto itself, and it goes right in your pocket, and it's super compact, easy to take back out. And it's like it's really stupid strong. Like everyone that has gotten one so far, it's funny to watch them put it on something and go, "Oh, that's cool," and then they go to take it off, and they like can't take it off because they're scared they're gonna break something. Until like I encourage them to just grab it and rip it, and you know it's 2 seconds of training and they get it. You know, but it's I don't know. Just kind of fun. It's enjoyable.
For shop teachers, it's perfect as far as making videos.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
demo videos.
Right.
Or, you know, demoing the table saw, the bandsaw. At least, you know, I know my chop saw is aluminum, so I'd have to figure another way to put sheet metal somewhere. But
Right.
Well, think about
We're watching this.
think about you know, when you're trying to video things when COVID first came out, and as shop teachers, you're trying to show kids how to do things, whether it's, you know, using your hands to draw, or if you're trying to get a good video of a 3D printer, you know, how you had to manipulate the tripod just to get a good camera angle. Then you said, forget about it. Just let me buy the GoPro one, you know, for $19 because it's an older style GoPro. But you always had to use like an attachment with an attachment just to get the position where you want it. Even this past year, we had a drone competition, and you had to put like a tent in my classroom, and you had to video it because you videoed the results. You took the time from your phone or a camera, and even trying to manipulate those flexible legs around one of the poles just so it'll hold your camera there for a minute's worth of time to take a video.
Right.
Something like this, you know, you just strap it to the legs, fits there, it's stuck there, it's not going to move.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's not meant to like replace everything out there, right? Like early on, people were like, "Oh, put suction cups on it." I'm like, and I like entertained that thought, but I'm like, you know what? It doesn't do that. That's not what it's for. Like if you need to put this on glass, go buy GoPro suction cup mount, right?
Mhm.
And go buy their bike mount. Like don't put this on your bike. Like it doesn't make sense. Go buy the bike mount. It's really good. Like you should buy that. But if
this
you
is your
are,
niche.
yeah, if you're going on vacation, like you're gonna take a selfie with your phone, and you can just put this on the signpost, like 2 feet away from you, and use it, right?
Wow.
You don't like. There's so many things that are magnetic, like, and yes, it doesn't work on a hike. Okay, it just doesn't work on a hike. Like unless it's ironwood, I don't even think that's magnetic. I'm pretty sure, but like I'm actually working on 2 products to solve this issue. Not for the FrogPod though, but because I can't help myself and I feed the trolls. So I learned a big lesson in stopping. I don't know how to say this yet, but like stop at the thing it's good at. Don't try and make it do everything because then it'll suck, right? I'll refine that statement for a later date and you can quote me. So that takes a lot of restraint, which I don't usually have, and I learned that here. And I've already applied that to future things that I'm working on now. I'm like, no, it doesn't do those things. It does this. It solves this problem, and it solves it really well, and that's good enough.
Did you ever hear of David Kelly and the D School?
No.
He teaches. You sound just like this super duper professor guy that had a company called oh geez, I forget. It was up in Boston, and they're into product design, and yeah, they're just like, you got to take like a really straightforward approach to things. What does it do well? What is the problem you're trying to solve? You know, type of thing. Real like straightforward, you know? That's great.
Yeah, I just googled him, and I want to watch all these videos that popped up.
Yeah. David,
Like all of them look interesting.
yeah, he's got like a whole school at Stanford. I mean, basically they teach classes at Stanford on exactly what you just said.
Right. Right. And I can watch them for free instead of paying tuition.
Yes.
But that's another discussion. Yeah, that's cool.
Design thinking. That's what it's about. Yeah, this is it right here. It's like a master's program or something. But David Kelly's cool. He's got all kinds of information about philosophy about this. This is the design school.
I feel like I watched a clip of him once. It just something's ringing a bell, and I'm sure I'm going to cross over it as soon as I start watching all of these.
Yeah. There's one where they redesigned a shopping cart. Can you imagine redesigning?
Right. Sorry, I just read how to build your creative confidence, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Like,
wow.
That's what I'm working on.
This thing is reacting to my mouse. I don't know if you realize that.
Oh, that's cool.
This tricky website. Let's pull up David Kelly for a second. Shopping cart, because it's the design. Yeah, there it is. IDEO, that's it. And they redesign a shopping cart. Can you imagine? How can you do that? It's like near impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Oh, first we have to watch an ad from our favorite. It's so funny. These ads run in the schools, and I'm just like, isn't that
really?
Yeah, like we're in a school, teachers. Anyway, so yeah, so we're not gonna watch the whole thing. I'll just show you so you get familiar. This is the whole approach. I'll skip ahead till and they come up with a pretty good design. I'm surprised that it didn't go into production. They kind of had to address like the idea of like shopping carts getting stolen. What do you do about that? That's David Kelly like 20 years ago. And they get into where to find all your stuff. He kind of predicted the future because they put like a scanner on the cart. It's kind of what you do now on your phone. Self-checkout. They predicted it.
No, there were grocery stores. I think we've moved past it already, but there were grocery stores with scanners on the carts, and you would put stuff in your cart and scan.
That's the prototype right there. Mm-hmm. And what was kind of cool is the way they solved the theft problem was they thought, well, you can't stop someone from stealing it. They're going to steal it. But what is the value of a shopping cart? The value is in the bucket. So they're like, okay, well, what if the cart holds the individual little, like as you can see here, and then the carriage, and then it hangs the bags. So when you get to the parking lot, this thing is no more than a hanger, like a rack. It's no longer unless you got those the handheld carts.
Yeah.
So it holds the bag. So now they got rid of bags. So but yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. So
that's really cool. It's really hard to redesign something that boring as a shopping cart, right? I just backed a Kickstarter. They're making thumbtacks. That's it. They're making thumbtacks. But I don't even have a cork board, but I bought them because I just want it to be a reminder that something as boring as a thumbtack can be, you can innovate on top of it. And all it is it's a thumbtack, but it looks like it's called the jellyfish, but it looks more like squid legs, right? So like the needle's coming out of the middle of the squid legs. And when you put it in the thing, you can just shove a piece of paper up and the squid legs kind of trap it. So you don't have to poke the paper itself. But it was just, I'm like, how do you come up with an idea to like make the thumbtack better? I would quit. I would quit that thought process before I got there.
Yeah, maybe that's why, even though they designed it, I've never seen that design out there because how are you going to get everybody to change over their shopping cart? No one's going to.
Right.
So can you walk us through? Well, first of all, we should just give you like a shout out because this thing was funded far past your expectations. Am I right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
But
absolutely.
what now? But also, we should maybe back up a minute and talk about Kickstarter for a second.
Uh-huh.
From my understanding, because people ask, like for instance, Nick in the beginning of the podcast, he says, "What is Kick?" Oh, I forget. No, sorry, Duke. What is
That was me.
Kickstarter?
Hopefully, you spend more than a second on it because I'm trying to figure this out. Even a Google search won't tell you exactly what Kickstarter is.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Thomas, can I just try at what I think it is,
Yeah.
and then you tell me what it is? As far as I can tell, there's a big misconception. People think that it is a like a revenue generator or whatever, but I think it is, or like an investment generator, but I think it is a pre-order system. You come up with a prototype, you got to prove it works. Otherwise, you're a jerk. You got to prove it works. You can totally sell that thing on your own, but it'd be really nice if you had pre-orders. Then you could go into production in the proper way with money. And you could do it the way you want it done and the customers want it done. So it's a pre-order system. Am I right about that?
Yes, but not on the surface.
No,
That's
it
not
doesn't look like that.
right. Right. So if I said, "Oh, I'm doing a Kickstarter," and you're like, "What a Kickstarter?" I would first ask you, "Do you know what Gofundme is? Have you heard of Gofundme?"
Yes.
So Gofundme is charity, right? It's a crowdsourcing charitable website. And Kickstarter is the same mechanic as GoFundMe, but it's not charity. It's to back a project that needs funds to get off the ground,
Boom.
right? So I'm a bad example, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But if I wanted to make, well, the FrogPod, but it couldn't be 3D printed, right? If I wanted to make the FrogPod and I needed injection molds, that's like 30 grand for molds. And in order to get my money back for the molds, I need to sell at least, I don't know, 10,000 units, right? To divide that 30,000 into 10,000 is that $3? I don't even know. Don't worry about it. It's close enough.
Yeah.
So, which means I need, what did I just say? 10,000 units? Let's say, I don't know, I need $100,000 to make one. That's just to make one. And I know I said I bought 10,000 of them, but that's impossible for me to do as an individual, right? I don't have 100 grand to invest in anything. And it wouldn't be in my own products because of my own insecurities, but it would be, Kickstarter allows you to bring this product. Maybe I made a prototype that works and I show it to the people on Kickstarter, which is you, not Kickstarter people, corporate. And you have the option to back it. And typically there are reward levels. And it might, like for me, I have a $30 reward level where you just get a FrogPod. I have a $40 reward level where you get a FrogPod and all the accessories with it. And you pick what you want, and you're effectively pre-ordering, right? And you have the understanding that the item won't be delivered until the delivery date. And in my case, I put December, but December 2022, right? A lot of times for most of these projects, it's a year or two before they can get the injection molder. They have to find the factory. They have to go through all of these iterations. So that's what.
Where's the rewards? Is it right here?
Yeah, keep going. Yep, on the right. Scroll down right there. Keep going.
Back the
So yeah,
project
so
and it'll
pledge
open
$30
the
on
reward.
Sorry, Nick.
And you get a FrogPod, become part of the FrogPod army, and they'll deliver it to you on December. Then the next one, $10 more, you get a FrogPod, a phone clamp, a GoPro tripod adapter, mini ball head. So like these are like package levels of commitment,
Right.
but they're basically pre-orders. Someone's expecting to get something.
Right. Now what's crazy,
Which is not
what I
fair.
still find crazy
Yeah, sorry.
is that no go so what's crazy about Kickstarter is that technically you are not buying product. You are backing a project and there is no guarantee that you will receive anything. Like I, but
Yeah,
you
see-
wouldn't back it. You wouldn't back it if you didn't think you were going to get it. So it's my job to make you believe that I'm not a criminal and that I'm going to actually make these things and send them to you. And I think I've done that very well. Like I've actually shown you how many I've made over 100, or I've given out over 60 of them, and all my maker friends have shared them. And I've made 50 more that are ready to go for another tier that you can't see anymore, which is the get it first tier. They're going to get it first. They're going to get it like probably 3 weeks after the campaign ends, which is in 17 hours. So like
Wait, what?
I've yeah, it's over tomorrow at noon.
What?
I know. Crazy, right?
I gotta
That's
get
why
one.
you were on last week.
Get on it, man. I know. I'm so sorry.
I gotta order one.
Yeah, so it's over tomorrow at noon, and right now everybody's going to get theirs. I mean, unless something horribly goes wrong, you're going to get it by the end of September. Even if you order it right now and you're at the end of the line, it's still going to be within September. I have way too many. I have way more printers than I need for the amount of FrogPods that I've sold. So that's that. There is risk involved. Like there's a tab called risks, and I have to fill that out and explain to you what the risks are. But with mine, I want to say there really isn't a risk. I'm going into this, like this has been designed to be successful. There's not a lot, like unless China just screws me over on not shipping things, that's going to delay me and steal my money. But I have pretty good suppliers. I've physically received things from these suppliers. I'm awaiting more. The magnets are coming, like they're being made this week and should be here within a week after that. So like the risk is super low for my project. There are definitely other projects on Kickstarter. You need to do your due diligence. You just like Google these people and make sure that they're not like, make sure they have a presence and a reputation. But it was super important for me to have a very successful Kickstarter. No matter, success doesn't mean dollars. Success means somebody bought it and I gave it to them. Like that's success. I wanted that because I want to do more of these. I have more product ideas and I need to build my reputation and this is definitely going to do it.
This is the plastic.
Yeah.
TPU plastic.
TPU, thermoplastic polyurethane. It's flexible filament. It's really cool stuff. It's it's super strong. Like look at the picture of me ripping it apart. Yeah, right there. I think that's the one. Yeah. Like you see it stretching. Like that's not good for it, but it's fine. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't do that on purpose, but you can. Okay. I would challenge anybody, no refunds, but I would challenge anybody to rip this apart by hand. It would take quite a bit of strength. I haven't been able to do it. I don't think I could do it. I don't think it's possible. It's insanely strong. You could deform it and stretch it to where it won't come back to its original state, but you're not going to break this thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry, my friend's leaving. He was working on a car. I was asking him. Yeah. Okay. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to get a package. So now just for comparison, if you click on Kickstarter and we go to like what was like the most, is there a famous Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah, unfortunately the famous ones are ones that flopped and stole everybody's money. The coolest cooler, I don't know if you're going to find it on here. The coolest cooler. Let's see if I can
I remember that. Did they ever deliver?
No. Nope.
What? That's such a big
now this
deal.
it is a big deal, but this was years ago before Kickstarter increased their rules. Like you have to have a legit working prototype. They review.
Delivered the cooler.
Yeah, no. Millions of dollars. It's crazy.
So he kept all that money.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not that simple, but yeah.
Well, maybe they tried and they couldn't do it. I don't really know the story. So wait, so
Well,
how
it
do I
takes.
find that one?
What's that? I don't know if
Probably.
it's. I don't know if you can find it on there.
Yeah, so
I just remember the name.
popular one.
Yeah.
Go to design
But
and
even
tech.
like Jocko's stuff, like the Maker Knife, did like $270,000.
Can we search by popularity?
You should be able to.
Explore.
If you go,
Oh,
click on Magic. Yeah.
Magic? Sort by
Yeah,
magic?
I don't know. Magic is like their algorithm. No,
Oh.
Magic is like their algorithm selector. It's
Yeah.
popularity. There you go. But again, popularity isn't like, it's not a straight linear algorithm.
Okay. A wallet. Grind your own
Yeah.
coffee pods. All right.
There's all kinds of weird stuff on here. It's so cool to look at. It's really good for inspiration.
Yeah. Wow.
Even design, like aesthetics, a lot of this stuff is really well designed, and it's just cool to look at that. So if you have like a functional product that you like and you want to make, like go look at some other design elements, and you can make yours look cooler and look better.
Hyperdrive Thunderbolt 4 power hub.
Hey, look, there's Jocko's.
Oh, nice.
Where?
Number
Dark
4.
fade on the
Dark
left.
fade. Dark
What
fade.
is that?
It's just a flashlight. It's really it's innovative though. It's basically to turn it on, you can hold the button and rotate your hand left or right for the dimmer, and then you let go of the button and it stays there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He goes so over the top with his videos. It's insane.
Yeah. I don't put the sound. It's just too much right now. Probably echo it.
Yeah.
What is going on in this video? This does not look like a flashlight video. Oh, that is an airplane. That is an airplane piece of furniture.
He made that desk.
Really? I've done one on a desk like that. That's cool.
That's very cool.
Look at this thing. Holy schmoly. It's like scary. Oh, look at the Apple II computer. Look at these guys.
So he's rotating it right now to dim it.
Oh, I see. You just rotate.
Right there, yeah. Right. But what's kind of cool also is that it has, you can reprogram it. You can like plug it in to your computer and give it different things, whether that might be a strobe light. He even demos a, like, I don't know what he calls it, like a theft detection. So like if you put it down in front of your, like, he's about to show it, I think, but you can put it down like in front of your door, and if it gets knocked over, it'll start flashing and actually like play a siren sound also. So whatever you want to call that. Not that you need that in a flashlight, but you can program it to do all these different things, which is kind of cool. And I don't think
Keep putting it down. He needs a FrogPod, dude.
I asked, he told me about this a couple months ago, and I'm like, does it have a 1/4-20 spot? And he's like, no. I was like, come on, man.
That's so obvious.
Yeah.
Well, how come you have to 3D print a base for it?
Exactly. Well, so it has on his flashlight. There's like a rail, like on a gun, like a gun rail where you can put attachments on, right? And so you can make your own clip, you can make your own holder, you can make whatever. You can clip it to, you can make a holder to clip onto anything that you want. I think a magnet is a pretty obvious option, but it's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
I bought one. They're cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you're supporting a community, So
well,
now
he gave me a lot of advice about my Kickstarter, so I'm willfully obligated. What's that?
So his goal was 15,000, and he beat it.
Come in an hour or less.
Right. So that's a gimmick. Okay. So like my goal was $1,500, and when you're doing a Kickstarter, you want your goal to be the minimum viable budget. So what's the least amount of money you need to make the thing, right? So in the injection molding example, it might actually be $100,000. Okay. In my case, I didn't need any money to make one. I can do this myself. I had done it myself already. So I still had to pick a goal, but you want to crush your goal. Like, it looks good to the strangers that find your page and they're like, oh, he's 2,000% to goal. I'll back that. That looks pretty, it gives you credibility.
Dude, this is a laser engraver.
Yeah. That stuff makes me nervous on Kickstarter though.
Yeah.
I need this. Does it
That one
go
is pretty
out?
cool.
Whoa.
I've seen others like it.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is not the table. This is like a wave over cutter. I mean, yeah, if you
I think it drives itself. I think it rolls itself.
What?
I think it drives itself. It has wheels. I'm pretty sure. I saw this one a while ago.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Interesting. Yeah, there's some cool stuff on here.
Yeah.
Huh. So it's a pre-order system with a couple other caveats to the deal. Like,
it's a pre-order system that the customer understands that it might take a year to make. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's built in.
Or they might not make it at all due to whatever.
The success rate's pretty high, I'll be honest. Like, it's pretty good. The risk is pretty low on most things. But like, I don't understand like the 3D printers. Like, they're still putting 3D printers on here. I'm like, go buy a Prusa. Like, why are we still taking a risk to buy a 3D printer? Whereas something like a everyday carry flashlight like Jocko's, like, yeah, there's a million flashlight options. That one's cool. Go ahead and buy that. Like, that fits still. But I don't get the 3D printer stuff or products that are readily available on Amazon. I'm not sure I get that yet. Because there's no risk on Amazon.
They got a Kickstarter app. I'm sorry, I was in the middle of putting my credit card in there for you before the pledge.
Nice.
You got 14 hours left, Ron.
The FOMO is setting in. I love it.
They even got some add-ons. Add on a key holder, an S-clip.
Yes. I don't have any key holders here. That was just supposed to be like this. Like, this is like a token instead of a sticker. It's like a thing you can buy and contribute, right? And that's what I did with the keychain. I was like, I want a $5 keychain thing that, like, only the people that know me, like, through Instagram and stuff, are gonna care about. Like, nobody that buys this at Walmart is gonna give a damn about the keychain version, right? This isn't going to Walmart, but you get the idea.
Okay, this is the most popular now of all projects.
Yeah, so it's not the most money raised. It's the algorithm kind of weighs in on how long it's been out and how much activity and stuff.
Foundations of Rome, Roads of Fortune, and Second Printing. What? What is that?
A lot of games on Kickstarter. Tons of games on Kickstarter. I think it's their biggest category.
The Smart Belt? What is that?
I have a belt idea.
Uh-oh.
I have a belt idea I want to make. It's too stupid that I'll never actually make it, but
Oh my God.
I want
overfunded.
It's awesome. Somebody's making a belt and made $135,000 doing it. Like, that's silly. That's awesome.
Okay.
Wait a second.
What's smart about this belt? Let's see.
I just put my
I can't
card in
wait
there.
for it to blow your mind.
What'd you say, dude?
Does it have a motor? You can tighten it. Under the
Oh.
loop, you can tighten it. Watch.
What?
Yeah. It's a record pinion. That's awesome.
What?
Look at the mechanism. Do they have a belt for gym shorts? Because that's all I wear.
Imagine if it squeezes too tight.
Does it loosen? Does it automatically loosen?
I don't know.
Oh, you can just loosen it. You can just quickly loosen it without moving. I like it.
It does have a track though. I don't think it has a motor. You grab the track locker.
Yeah. Right, but then you can pinch to release and slide it back, which is cool.
You know what's funny? That's like a military belt. This is what I have because I'm always adjusting. You see?
Yeah. Yep.
You know, because you sit down and you're like, "Rah."
Right, but now with this, you can adjust it discreetly.
Oh, I see. And it doesn't look like, and it looks like a
Yeah.
regular belt.
See, it's a good idea. I like it. All right, here's my belt idea. I think it needs light sensors all around it and a haptic feedback. And when light hits the belt, it sets off the haptic feedback motor and tells you that your crack is exposed.
I've had the same belt for the last 25 years.
Have you really?
Yes.
I kind of want this belt now. It's pretty cool.
Do you eat French fries? I mean,
I actually made the belt
it
smaller.
doesn't change for you?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
sometimes I eat some more French fries.
there's different hole sizes, Ron. You don't have to crank it to the last one. You can loosen it up still. Yeah, I've had my belts pretty long too. Hey, but back to
That's
this
a cow belt.
Oh yeah. So this is pretty cool, man. It's good stuff. Were you gonna say, Duke?
So it took my credit card information, but not my address. How do they ship the product to you?
Yeah, good question. Surprised nobody else has asked it. So tomorrow, your card won't actually get charged until after the campaign ends. And then you will receive a survey. It's called a survey. And I have to create the survey, send that out to everyone. That's when I get your shipping information. And if they're, just to be more generic, if there were like color or size options, like if I was selling belts, that's when you would say, oh, I need this size belt or whatever. So that'll come in the survey and you'll fill that out. But that's basically it. So like right now, no one has paid anything for the FrogPod.
Yep.
Right? Like that money is just a
sitting there.
tally of what is supposed to happen after tomorrow. So fingers crossed.
We should have had this. We should have done this podcast tomorrow. Now the money comes in. We could have watched them make it rain.
No, I won't see anything for 2 weeks. It takes 2 weeks for them to send me money, but yeah, that'd be cool.
But see, that's another question. If you're not in the know, like Nick, I'd be panicking if I wasn't talking to you right now without having my address. How are you going to get this?
So that's just part of the Kickstarter shtick. Like,
yeah.
If you had more time, you would probably come across that information, learning about Kickstarter, but you just got pushed into this pretty quickly. But yeah.
That's cool. No, this is good stuff. I mean, it's funny. I haven't looked at Kickstarter in a while. I always thought it was a really good idea. Also, there's something more interesting about Kickstarter. Am I right? This is no longer a regular company. It's it's not a nonprofit, and it's not a for-profit. It is a company, a B company or something like that. It's like for the greater good over profit. Yeah, let me look that up real quick. I think they moved into. Yeah, I think they moved into another.
Is that like a tax term?
They still pay taxes and whatnot, but they are not.
Okay.
They cannot tell their shareholder. Okay, I'm not speaking for Kickstarter right now, but from what I remember, there's another category of business where the priority is the community, not the profit. Although you need profit to grow, so they are a for-profit company, but the shareholders and whoever's involved can't expect that profit is number one. Profit is number two. Number one is.
Well, I mean, to prove that, they take 5%, which is super low for like Etsy, eBay, Amazon. They're like 15% at the end of the day. So 5% is nothing. Now, I also have to pay for credit card transaction fees, which is like another 3 to 5%.
I found it. It's called a public benefit corporation. It is no longer for profit. And that's a really good move. But I'm sure there are
What
some
is that?
Yeah, so check it out. It's kind of a cool thing. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, so here it is right here. It's a public benefit corporation based in New York, and which means maintains school. Okay, so what is a public benefit corporation? Okay.
I got it here if you want it. Is a corporation created to generate social and public good and to operate in a responsible and sustainable manner?
Yeah.
Did you find that? I wonder what that really means for. I mean, it sounds like there's tax implications, or and things like that. That's interesting. That sounds like the definition of a church.
It means like for instance, like I'll give you an example. If I were to guess, Sears probably put profit number one, went out of business because they never invested in their community the way they used to. At some point they just were like, okay, let's just tear this place down, and they started liquidating and whatnot, or they didn't invest in the greater good, which meant you got to go online and you got to ship it to people directly and stop making people drive to the store. And they just, that costs too much money. So they're like, forget it. And then they went out of business. Same thing with, look at perfect example, Blockbuster, we like, hey, we should probably go online. It costs too much money. And then we can't milk the late fees. So forget it. Well, then, yeah, they went out of business.
Well, not only did they not go online, but they didn't even mail DVDs to your house like Netflix was doing.
Oh, no, they tried that for a bit.
Very
small amount of time. They were messing around with that.
Late to the party.
Completely screwed that up,
Yeah.
But that's I'm really glad to see that Kickstarter's still around. And I remember when they went to this transition, I was like, well, that's kind of weird, And there's a bunch of companies that have done it. And it depends where you are in the country and this and that. Here's the differences. Corporation is not structured or tailored to address the situation for profit companies. Anyway, there's too many details here. There's a big history behind it. Here's another example. Dodge versus Ford. We could do a whole podcast on that. So the Dodge brothers originally invested in Ford when he was like a nobody, created an enormous company. They were machinists that supplied him with stuff. Ford kept dropping the price of the cars as the production costs went down so that he could have more sales and saturate the market, changing the fabric of society. Dodge was like, no, dude, charge more for the cars. The demand is way up. And Ford was like, I don't care. I just want to give everybody a car. And so they sued him. And what the result was that the judge said, yeah, Dodge is right. You can't just, this is not a charity. You can't just give out cars at cost or close to cost. But here's the caveat. It ultimately comes down to the CEO, what the CEO wants to do. And that's Henry Ford. So he was like, okay, fine. So I'm not supposed to do this. I'm supposed to have a big profit, but I can do it my way. And so the Dodge brothers, they won the case, but they lost in the end because they couldn't force Ford to raise his prices because that's up to him. So then the Dodge brothers took a payout because those two hated each other. And then they started their own company and they went into competition with Ford.
What was that company called? I'm just playing.
Yeah, okay, obviously, right.
That's probably the last time when the demand was high, the price was low.
Yeah. I mean, they made like they made like 15 million cars in a short amount of time. Like I think, like no one, now they could do something like that. But that was like, I mean, they basically built the entire auto industry.
It was the first smartphone. They had to train the public.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. All right, Matt. No problem. Yeah, it's getting late here. Well, now for me, it's 7 p.m., so I got an energy. But on the East Coast,
that's right.
Checking out. No, but this is good. Let's wrap it up. Thomas, dude, you're on.
Thank you.
bro. You're like you're like an inspiration. I really like what you're doing.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I like that I spoke to you back in the day, so I saw your story. It's very cool.
You knew me before I was famous.
No, you were growing back then too. It's very cool. Very cool.
No, I'm not famous at all. I'm joking. No, yeah, no, it only takes that one conversation to cement like a friendship. You know, it really does. Especially in this day and age where like relationships, you know, ebb and flow, where you just don't talk to somebody for a while and then you come back, and it's cool like that, especially in the maker community. It's awesome.
So everybody should jump on Infinite Craftsman, follow along, Kickstarter, whatever you want to do, and then you can. I'm going to get one, but if you don't, no big deal. But just follow along the story, because I don't know what Thomas is going to do next. You know, very cool.
Yeah,
Thanks for
me
joining.
neither.
Before we sign out, will this be available after the Kickstarter is closed?
Will they be available?
After the Kickstarter
Is that what
is
you said?
closed on
Not
FrogPod
right-
or Infinite?
Not right away. Not right away, but I'm working to get a pre-order site started probably a few weeks down the road, at least a few weeks from now. But you're gonna be at the end of the line after the Kickstarter, people. And that'll be spelled out there too. And then I'll catch up. You know, I'm hoping just 60 days from now I'm caught up, and they're just gonna be like, I'm gonna try them on Amazon, and I'm gonna try them on well, I guess just Amazon. I don't know. I think you can do Walmart too, but like as a third party. So I'll try that. People like to buy things on Amazon, so we'll see.
Cool. All right. Anybody else want to add anything before we check out?
No, it was awesome talk.
It was nice to meet.
Get-
Oh, thank you.
Get
I
that.
wanted to say thank you.
Get those frog pods before school starts.
I saw your name pop up on my phone like 10 minutes ago. Thank you for ordering one. I really appreciate it. I left my notifications on because it's fun for me. And every time somebody orders one, I get a notification on my phone. The first day was a little hectic. That was cool. But no, thanks for having me on, guys. I'd love to come on anytime and chat about other stuff too. I think it's awesome, like, that you guys care about what you do. And I know that translates to the kids. Like, it has to. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. Thanks a lot. You're a good inspiration, and it's great sharing ideas. And Shop Class Podcast, we'll have you on again, maybe in a couple of months or a year when you got something going, another thing going.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to end the recording here. Thanks for joining us.